Hello everyone and welcome back to the Blue Bounty Hunter channel. Now imagine this, it's a Friday, you just loaded up Jedi Survivor for the first time, and so far the game is really chill. But then, what's that? A boss fight? Your face starts to sweat, you feel your heartbeat go up, and you wonder why this great game has to be ruined by one stupid Inquisitor. But worry not, because I'm here and I'm going to tell you 3 huge tips on how to effectively and easily defeat her that will make this boss look like nothing more than a bogling. Before you charge headfirst into battle, however, you are going to want to make sure you have at least 3 stims to fight this boss, to make sure that you have enough to heal properly. And while you do start out with 2 stims from when you first step on the streets of level 2046, the third and final one for this level can be acquired when you first enter this meat factory after the 9th sister first appears. And instead of going off to the side here, you're going to climb straight up this wall, fight off this security droid, and then take your well-earned prize. So now that you have your 3 stims, it's time to learn how to parry. Now parrying can make such a huge difference in your combat capabilities, from making bosses and other enemies nearly impossible to a piece of Jogan fruitcake. When you start out, you will be tempted to just hold the block button whenever enemies are throwing strikes at you, but just like with a stormtrooper wielding a blaster, the real key is to wait until right before the foe hits, and then briefly press rather than hold the button that will allow you to block, or in this case, actually parry. For example, a noob might just hold their lightsaber and block against the 9th sister while she's trying to barrage you with hits, and then only be left with brief moments of opportunity to attack. But this is terrible for your chance of survival, because it just gives you limited time to deal damage to her, which you really do not want. So like I said, the real strategy is to wait right before and then parry the hits instead of continuously blocking. When you parry their strikes enough times, this will cause the boss to get stunned, opening up a large window of time to destroy their health. And even besides this boss fight, parrying is just a great practice to use throughout the entire game for a better experience, and one I wish I had realized sooner when playing Fallen Order, because Terran Malicos was certainly easier to beat once I knew this tip. Darth Maul must have forgotten this tip when fighting Obi-Wan. That's what you get for not watching the newest DBBH video, or at least that's what your bottom half gets. I don't know, this is getting confusing now. Another great thing to start implementing that is probably the problem that gets me the most in this fight, as you'll see in my gameplay footage, is to always dodge attacks from the enemy when they turn red. As you now know, when the boss or other foe turns crimson, that indicates that their upcoming attack is unblockable, and sometimes it's very hard to dodge them in time when trying to deal damage to them yourself. I know, but you just really have to put some effort into getting out of the way of those red attacks, because they never end well. And like I said, literally through all of this gameplay footage, even at the boss fight at the end where I'm like genuinely trying as hard as I can with all of these tips, you'll still find me getting hit by some of these red attacks and even just some normal attacks in general, so you are really going to want to try and avoid that. And the 3 tips that were mentioned at the beginning of this video that will improve your success by tenfold is this set of rules I like to call stop, sidestep, spam. And I'll be going over each of these in greater detail in a second, but in summary, there are 3 rules to follow that are all important to each other and all take place after that cutscene that plays once you've knocked about a third of their health off. Starting off with stop. This is important for when the 9th sister begins their force ability that makes it impossible to hurt them as they slowly pace around the arena, occasionally pulling you towards them for a deadly attack. And at first you might be tempted to try as hard as you can to deal damage to the Inquisitor while they're in this craze, even if they keep dodging it like me here. But due to it being impossible to injure them, it's really going to be smart to just keep your distance from them while they're doing this to not further drain stamina or even force attacks. Also, you can sometimes hit them a little bit after they pull you in to attack, but generally until they start actually coming after you again, it's best to just dodge for the time being. Next up, we have side step. This refers to whenever she pulls you in after building up her force strength for a while in order to lunge forward and stab you. Since this is again a red ability, that means there is no way to block it, making dodging your only option. And this attack can actually happen either here or even sometimes during the beginning when she first starts fighting you. It really is just an attack that you cannot afford to get hit by, as it will take way too much health away. And like the name of this suggests, you are really just going to want to dodge straight to the side, and basically what that's going to do is make it impossible for her to hurt you, because a lot of the times you're going to try and go backwards and then she's just going to end up stabbing you, like right here. But you want to dodge straight to the side, and then she can't hurt you and you're chill. So spam is the last part of this three-way process, that being stop, sidestep, and spam. And this is talking about after you've let the ninth sister use out her force ability, and after you remember to dodge the lunge ability, you have to really try to spam as hard as possible whenever a moment arises to take off her health. This is important because in this part of the fight, you'll be getting very limited opportunities to hurt her, giving the Inquisitor more time to hurt you. So basically, once she actually starts fighting you again after pulling Cal in for the third time, that's your chance to really go crazy and bring the shields as well as health of the boss down. Obviously, you should still remember to parry during this time, as that is the only way to get an opportunity to spam in the first place. And I hope that on top of this being easy to operate in combat, it's also easy to remember in your head, like some kind of mantra. Just remember, stop, sidestep, spam, stop, sidestep, spam, stop,
Hey, it's me.
But now that I've been bragging about my wisdom the whole video and how good this advice is, it's time to actually see if I can put these skills to the test by completing this boss fight. So I jump down here, block this attack at the beginning, and as you can see, I really am just making sure to parry every time she attacks and then spamming her health away. Now admittedly, sometimes I do get hit by some of those red attacks I was mentioning earlier, so you really do just have to watch out for those, but it is somewhat acceptable to sacrifice a little bit of your health as long as you are parrying most of it. And I would recommend not using a stim until you get to like that first cutscene about a third of the way through it, because otherwise that's just kind of lazy. And always remember, by the way, that only use stims when your health is getting really low, because if you use it when it's like halfway, you could be using up more stim than you actually need, which is not a good plan. So here you can see me keeping as far away from her as possible while the force ability is active, and then I'm also clearly sidestepping all of the lunge attacks. And when you get to this next cutscene and your lightsaber actually splits in two, just make sure to spam them as quickly as possible to kill their health in this last section, as it is pretty easy to get them down quickly at this part. Also make sure to use this unique force ability when it tells you to in order to end the fight. Also, my health gets down insanely low here, which you really want to try and avoid. And boy, does it feel good to get to that last cutscene. That was an intense fight, but trust me, it gets a lot worse later, so for now, this is probably not actually that hard. But now it's your turn. Turn on the console, get fighting, and if you ever run into trouble with the force section, just remember stop, sidestep, spam. And I would love to make Jedi Survivor videos this entire month, but there is a lot of other stuff I want to get to, and also these videos are a little bit harder to make because I have to download all of the clips off of my Xbox and stuff. But I mean, hey, if they do really good, like some of the best on my channel, then I might consider consider doing more. And I know this is a pretty easy boss fight to be making a video about. It'd probably be more helpful for a really hard one, but literally I've had such limited time at this point to actually play the game that I've only gotten through the first couple levels as of recording this, so you have to kind of roll with me here. But anyway, that's it for this video. You can subscribe if you want to. I upload every Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I also post shorts on Saturday. But yeah, see ya.